Welcome in to another Running with the Timberwolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I'm joined, as always, by Chris Emerson. Chris, how we doing?
We're doing doing pretty good. Took a tough loss last night, but that's okay. Onward and upward.
Yeah, and honestly, we'll get into it, but I honestly think that everything had to go right for the Indiana Pacers to win that game, and I think everything did go right for them. Like, for example, Obi Toppin going, 7 for 10 from three? I mean, these are his last, 5 games before that. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 points, no rebounds, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 3-pointers made. I mean, sometimes it's just your night, and it was Obi Toppin's night last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want your role players to do. Like, step up when they're needed, have a huge game. And he's not even a shoot. Like, I know he's been working on a shot, but he was, traditionally known as a non-shooter. So for him to go 7 of 10 is ridiculous.
Right.
We didn't have anyone step up other than our normal guys when we needed them. And, we played ugly and we got beat.
Yeah, and I hope they take this the right way. I hope this is a wake-up call a little bit, because I know you were talking in the chat against after the Utah game where the Wolves played a little sloppy against a team that isn't that good and weren't looking to win whatsoever, and it cost them. They came out soft the night or 2 nights after, and they just didn't look good. They talked a lot in the post-game presser about how they needed to come out with urgency. They needed to not take this team lightly, and that's exactly what they did.
I mean, that's what happened. Like you said, the Utah Jazz game, sure, we put up great numbers, but we were sloppy. Like, everyone was trying to get their own shot. Everyone was trying to make a highlight. Anthony Edwards wasn't getting off the ball early because he was trying to go for 2 million points. That kind of play, that's Bush League play. That's like childish, like high school stuff. And I know we're young players, and but that's crap. Like, we were winning, moving the ball, playing team ball, getting everybody involved. Yes, you're playing a bad team. We'll blow them out the right way. After that win, the first thing I said is I'm worried that this type of non-serious play is going to affect us going forward. In the very next game, we get absolutely stomped. Not statistically wise, but in theory, they had every single starter damn near out. And some of them are really high level guys.
Right.
And we got run out of the gym for the most part. Like, that's
in the first half.
Right. I mean, points wise, sure, we were close, but we should have been up by like 40 on this team. That's what I'm saying. Like, for them even to be close, it means that we're playing terrible. And, I know we shot terrible. Like, Edwards and Jaden went 1 or 2 for 17 from 3. So like that sort of stuff isn't going to keep happening. But I mean, we need to play team basketball if we want to keep winning. And maybe it's just we play down to our competition and that happens, but we need to do better.
Right, I agree. And Coach Finch, after the game, he was in the post-game pressure, and he said in the times where we had chances to take control of the game, instead of just getting a methodical possession, getting a good look, we tried to go for the kill shot. Or the way that he put it was we were a little wild. Like, throwing up a 3 in transition, particularly, I don't care if Anthony Edwards throws up a 3 in transition, but if you're 1 for 10, maybe don't do that. And it's not just Anthony Edwards, but it's like you were mentioning, I don't think that I think that this team goes for the fancy play more than not. The play that'll make SportsCenter that shows, oh, we clinched this game, rather than just good ball movement, keep doing what got you here. Like, the Wolves had so many opportunities to win this game. I mean, they were up 8 midway through the fourth quarter. They also were up 5 twice with about a minute 30 in overtime left and a minute 30 left in the fourth quarter. I mean, just so many opportunities to win this game. And to their credit, Indiana came down, made some clutch shots, and the Wolves just could not respond. Some crazy shots as well. That, not to go back to Obi Toppin too much, but that one in the corner
is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be in that point, like you said. Like, yeah, we can say it's a crazy shot, but the game shouldn't have been that close. It shouldn't have even come down to that. This is a type of game that I think Chris Finch loves. I mean, after we go on a big win streak and our guys have their chests puffed out, we win by 20. Everybody has a gaudy numbers versus Utah. I mean, it's got to be hard to talk to those players and try to tell them what they're doing wrong when they're like, listen, coach, we're unbeatable type thing. So this sort of game probably brings everybody down a couple notches and brings the coaching staff up a couple notches and lets them get back to maybe coaching a little bit harder and pointing out some problems. I mean, it could be one of those things where this win or this loss will propel us for the rest of the season, hopefully.
I hope so. And so the Wolves play, not that we're looking forward too far right now because we're early on in the podcast, but the Wolves play the Pelicans tomorrow. Yeah. And I want them to come out motivated. I don't want to wait for the second half. I want a 10, 15-point lead in the first quarter. Now, I know that's a lot to ask, and I know that first quarter leads don't mean much in the NBA, but that would show me a lot. If the Wolves were like, we are not going to let this happen again. We are not going to let a highly motivated team, highly hurt and injured, we're not going to let them go and throw the first punch. We're going to be the aggressors at home, and we're going to throw the first punch. And I would love to see that.
Especially if we're up 10 points and we've got 15 assists on 17 field goals or something like that. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see the ball movement. If Anthony Edwards ever brings the ball up, he does a lot now. Get off the ball, for God's sakes. Like, I don't want to see a 25 dribble, contested jump shot. I get it. You're our best player, but swing the ball. You can always get that shot, let's get this ball movement happening. And I hope it will. And I assume it will. And if it doesn't, we're not going to be much in the playoffs. So we need to make a change for that.
Well, my thing is, Anthony Edwards did so well at driving and getting to the free throw line last night, a career high 20 free throws last night. Yeah. It's like, why take so many threes in that scenario? Now, I've said time and time again that I don't mind when Anthony Edwards takes threes this year because, he's making 40% of them. But in a game where you're 1 for 10, why take another one? Why not try to at least draw in the defense like Julius Randle loves to do and kick it out to someone or get fouled again? Like, I don't understand it, and I hope Ant learns from this. I have an interesting stat. I was doing some digging. So
let's hear it.
Anthony Edwards in 5 times in his career has attempted 18 free throws or more. The Wolves' record in those games, 2-3.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's an interesting stat because you think, he's getting the free throw line, he's destroying them. But no, actually, in times where he gets high teens free throws, we're actually not that good a team.
That's strange. Yeah, and I saw, Julius Randle had, 17 points on 11 shots or something? Like, so he got to the line 10 times, I believe. Like, we were getting there. Yeah, it was just a sloppy game. It's one of those games where I don't want us to just put it behind us. Like, sometimes you have a game and stuff just doesn't work out, and the coaching staff's like, okay, forget about it. On to the next one. I kind of want this one to stick around for a bit. I want that bad taste in our mouth for, a couple weeks so that we play seriously. That was an unserious basketball game. Or two in a row that were unserious. We need to get back to being serious.
Yeah, and to say the Utah game was unserious, to their credit, the Wolves did go out and demolish them, which is what they should do.
Right.
To their credit, I mean, you could tell Lauri Markkanen, although he did hit some threes, Lauri Markkanen was not going to risk injury in that game and drive to the basket and try to make a play. First of all, Lauri Markkanen's had a terrible year so far this year, but all he was doing was shooting threes. And he's good at it, at least historically, but you were not going to see Lauri Markkanen really try in that game. The younger guys, they were going to try. The Keontae Georges, the Filipowskis, they were going to give out their effort because they're trying to win contracts. But that's basically all that's left for the Utah Jazz. Now, the Indiana Pacers, you got something to play for. What? They're now the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. And these guys want to earn roles. Like TJ McConnell in the playoffs, he doesn't want to lose the 8 or 9 spot on this team in the playoffs when they shorten the benches a little more. So, sure. I mean, it was a perfect storm for the Wolves. Like you were mentioning, a sloppy game before where they just cruised to a victory, a back-to-back, so that's a factor. Obi Toppin going insane. Some roughhousing, which cost us some perimeter defense, which people like to talk about the Rudy Gobert ejection, that it's always a good thing. Now, I love Rudy Gobert standing up for Mike Conley, but in the thick of it, in a tie game, I mean, you could say that free throw cost us a little bit because we got one free throw, they got 2. Also, you lose that inside defense as well, where, for example, that drive where TJ McConnell goes right past Jaden McDaniels, who would be right there in the lane to block that or to redirect that? It would be Rudy Gobert. So, I mean, you can't really blame. And the ejection did fire us up, it seems like, a little bit, but I don't know, man. Like you said, we don't want to put it behind. We want, there's 2 ways to look at it. We want to put it behind us where we don't want us to take it down, take us down, but we also want to be motivated by this and it sting for example, the NCAA tournament right now. Remember a couple years ago when Virginia got beat by UMBC 116? What did they do the next year? They went and won the whole thing.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking. And I'm hoping. And, you know, I think a lot of it is just we went into it with the idea that we're going to stomp this team just like we stomped the lowly Jazz. So, you know, you don't have to get up for it. You don't have to be as locked in. And, you know, every game is NBA players. I know it's like cliche. You know, these are NBA teams that can, you know, anyone can get hot, but it's real. Like, and if we are in the play-in, obviously we're going to take it seriously, but, you know, everybody you have to take serious, even an Obi Toppin. Like, you have to close out hard. I mean, if he's up to 4 3-pointers in the game, no more, you know, like, don't let him float around out there without being covered. Like, I was watching his highlights and there wasn't a lot of contested shots that he was shooting. So yeah, I think it's okay. Not a big deal. We had a huge run and we can go on another big run right now.
Right. It's actually the 4th longest win streak in Wolves history. And interestingly enough, last year's team did not have an 8-game win streak. But caveat to that, they did have a 7-game win streak and a 6-game win streak. And obviously they had the 6-game win streak in the playoffs where they won in the first round and then games 1 and 2 against Denver. But last year's team did not have an 8-game win streak. Now, don't read into that too much. I'm not saying this team is better than last year's team. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying they didn't have an 8-game win streak.
I'll say it.
All right. I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I'm there yet. Until proven, I got to see us in the playoffs. And by the way, speaking of playoff implications, 2 big games tonight. If you're listening tonight as opposed to tomorrow, you may already know the results. But the Warriors are playing the Bucks at home without Steph Curry. He's getting the rest tonight. And then below us, the Clippers are playing the Cavaliers. So Go
And
Cavs.
Golden State's
Fuck.
coming off a loss too.
They are. They're coming up a loss where Denver didn't have Jokic or Murray. So, I mean, and that's the weird thing about the Denver Nuggets right now. Like, they get killed by us, and then they almost lose to a Austin Reeves led Lakers, and then they lose to the Washington Wizards at home, and then they go and beat the red hot Golden State Warriors without their two best players. So I don't know what's going on in Denver right now. But
it's wild. The NBA is wild. There's so much talent everywhere. I mean, you can have guys getting hurt and guys coming in that are, I mean, we saw it go for 30, like it's a real talent rich league. And I think we should all be pretty excited that we get to watch it, to be honest with you.
And by the way, what happened the last time the Wolves had a bad loss to a bad team? That was our last loss before this. We went on an 8-game winning streak. That was a loss to the Jazz. So let me ask you this. What was your favorite moment of the 8-game winning streak? So I'll just go over the wins. At the Suns versus the 76ers, at the Hornets, at the Heat versus the Spurs, at Denver versus the Magic versus the Jazz. What's your favorite? What's going to stick out when people remember this win streak?
I think it's going to be Denver for me because it's a team that matters. It's a team that matters in a lot of ways to us. And I think that it told our guys that, we can compete at this level. Like, we can compete with these guys again this year. We had their number last year at Denver, and then we come in and we've got it again now. I think that sort of confidence is going to go a long ways. So I'm going to pick that, and we can do it again in a couple. And we got them again pretty soon too, I believe, don't we?
Yeah, I think like on Friday. So the Wolves' schedule is a little weird coming up because I think we're ahead in games, like total games played, than a couple teams.
I saw that. I was trying to figure that out with the Knicks, and we had like 4 more games than them. And I'm like, What is going on?
Right. So my answer for this, I would agree with you. The Denver win, the most underwhelming win, which is weird to say, is the Heat win because I think we played terrible in that game. Yeah. And also, if you look at the Heat, they're terrible right now. So that, by the way, that Eastern Conference play-in is a joke, absolute joke. I mean, the Bulls are going to be the 10 seed. They may lose like 48 games. It's an absolute joke.
The Eastern Conference has historically been this way, but it's even worse than normal this year.
Right, I agree. So what I'll remember are a couple things. One, I went to the 76ers game, so I'll remember that. So that was a fun one. The Hornets game, and this will stick out, where it was, I believe we got an offensive rebound and passed. No. It was a broken possession, I believe. And DiVincenzo got the ball, did a little spin, and threw it up from like the logo.
Deep. Yeah.
The deep one to go up 22. I'll remember that for a good amount of time.
The shot clock was low, I remember, and he just jacked it.
Yeah, he just jacked it up. Obviously, the Nuggets win, I'll remember. Pretty good win against the Magic. I'll say that. That comeback win. Bad third quarter. Let the Magic get back into it, take a lead, and that's honestly what Wolves fans were hoping would happen last night, was just a dominance like they had against the Orlando Magic in the fourth quarter, where they got back into that game really quick. I mean, it was tied with like 9 minutes left in the game. And then also the one to start it. Now, I know that the Phoenix Suns aren't the Phoenix Suns that we're used to, but just to go into Phoenix is always an impressive thing, and just give them a whooping was great to watch. It almost brought me back to the playoffs last year. Not quite, but it almost felt like that a little bit.
Man, those were good times. I'm excited for this season, the playoffs. not only because, the Timberwolves are going to be awesome to watch, but there's so much interesting stuff going on in the Western Conference. I mean, we've got Houston, who's this young team full of like crazy hardworking athletes that are playing defense all over the place. You've got Golden State with Jimmy Butler sliding in. You've got, Denver. Are they still where they're at? You've got this crazy Lakers team that, just got Luka. And then on top, you've got OKC, who's just been dominant the whole year. Like, can they make a playoff run this year? Or are they still too young? Like, the drama in the Western Conference is going to be amazing, and I just can't wait to see any of those matchups in all of them.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I think we'll wait until a couple weeks to talk, or maybe a week or so to talk about playoff matchups.
Once it gets a little cleared out,
once it's a little more cleared out. But what I want to go with, and let's go back to Obi Toppin. Obviously, just crazy game last night, crazy shots. Yeah. But let's talk about it. In your opinion, who are the biggest Timberwolves killers? Like when we play them, you're like, oh shoot, they kill us every time.
That's a good question. I mean, I know there's some historically good players that have done that, but I want to think of like some guys that have got us that are just not good. Man, that's a good question.
So, I'll help you out a little bit.
Yeah, give me some.
So first I'll go through the top leading scorers, and this will go into some of the good players that do it, but the leading scorers against us all time.
Yeah.
In the number one in only 2 games is Cade Cunningham, 36 points a game.
That's crazy, but I don't feel like I'm going to give you a little. I don't feel like he's a Timberwolves killer so much to me. Like that doesn't stick out.
No, we'll get to some.
Yeah.
Actually, number 2 with 1 games played, you'll recognize this guy, Karl Anthony Towns.
I've heard of
32 points that 1 game. Anyway, now we'll get into guys that played more games against us. The highest per volume Wolves killer in terms of points per game, Trae Young. 30.
Yeah, he's a matchup problem.
30.6 per game in 13 games. Number 4, if he ever sees the court, Joel Embiid, 30.1 points per game. And then you may know this guy, number 5, Michael Jordan. He played 18 games, averaged 29.2 points per game.
I saw a couple of those. Yeah, none of those guys I really would say are killers. Like those are guys that just did well, like
right.
Oh, like Embiid, that's like his average. Like right. I know there's some scrubs that have got us a couple times that have been like, God dang, that guy got 18 tonight and he averages like 4. Like those type of guys are the ones that hurt me. And I know there's some, I just can't. I don't have the great recall like that. But I know there's some bums that have always got pretty hot versus us.
So one for me is DeMar DeRozan. Now I know he's more on the star level, and another former, I guess, current Bull, Kobe White. I would say seems to get us a lot. I found this on Reddit. This guy named the updated 2025 All NBA Wolf Killer team. So I'll just read some of these off and then you can react to some.
Yeah.
So we have as the start, he actually did a bench starters coach, general manager.
Okay.
Dennis Schroeder, Kobe
I'm
White.
A big Schroeder fan. Kobe White's killed us, yes.
Malik Monk.
Okay, yeah.
Obi Toppin, so recency bias. Karl Anthony Towns, recency bias. So the bench. Derek Lively, Brandon Clark, Jonas Valanciunas. I agree with this next one. Cole Anthony. Yes. He's got us a couple times.
Brandon Clark, too, I would put high on the list of Timberwolves killers. We just cannot handle that guy.
Yeah. Dylan Brooks, to some extent. I think more in the 2022 playoffs, I would say. And then, of course, Andrew Wiggins. Coach, they have Jason Kidd. And then actually, this is kind of funny. Under general manager, they have second apron.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say out of those ones, I would say Kobe White is the one that sticks in my mind. I know he went for like 40 on us. Um, a lot of guys that tend to burn us, we always try to pick them up later.
Right.
I think Shake Milton put a hurting on us one year, and then we went and got him the next. So yeah, when those guys that are role players go off, it's so disheartening.
I know.
And you wanna try to figure it out. Like, did we just not take them seriously, or what was the problem? But I think it's just, these guys are so talented that sometimes they just have it,
Right.
and
There's a reason they're in the NBA.
yeah, and I don't think it matters that it says Wolves on your jersey, or it could have said Pelicans, or it could have said Spurs. It just, that guy was going to hit those shots that night, possibly, and it just is what it is, and you got to deal with it.
I found two things. One, the 6th overall points per game leader against the Wolves. We play tomorrow, Zion Williamson.
That's a Wolves killer. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a stud in general, but
Right.
he is, and maybe most fan bases when they go up against him are like, gosh, how do we stop him?
Right.
But man, he is uniquely annoying to us for sure.
And interesting one here. I wonder if you remember this name. At number 19, right under Shaquille O'Neal. He's only played the Wolves once. Roy Hinson is averaging.
Roy Hinson.
He's averaging 25 points a game against the Wolves.
Was that Cleveland?
Roy Hinson played 8 years for the Nets, Cavaliers, and 76ers.
Okay, Cavs. That's who I remember him playing for. I can picture him. That's an amazing stat.
Yeah. He put up 25 on us. Another one I will throw out just because I was at the game. Shaden Sharp, I feel like, has got us. I'm thinking of one particular game. One where I forgot what the spread was, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was
end of the year last year. Everyone was out.
No, not the year before that.
Maybe that's when it was.
Yeah, everyone was out. It was the Shaden Sharp Kevin Knox game.
Yeah,
and I was there, and I was pissed. I was like, "Oh, we're not going to make the playoffs. This is going to go south," and rest is history. But yeah, I would say that's a pretty good. The big one that stands out for me, Malik Monk. I always get worried when he gets hot.
Yeah, and he gets hot a lot.
And I worry when DeMar DeRozan and Malik Monk are on the same team because those are two Wolves killers, I feel like, for sure.
For sure.
But hopefully we won't have to deal with them, and hopefully we'll avoid the play-in altogether.
I think we're going to avoid the play-in. I don't think that Golden State's going to be able to win at the rate that we're going to keep winning at. And I don't think it's completely unlikely that we even move up some. There's a lot of teams, 3 games ahead of us, that if we get hot again, we could catch even one of them. So I think we're going to be out of the play-in. But again, like I've said all year, I don't think I'm too worried about it, because if you can't get out of the play-in, then you probably weren't destined to go very far in the playoffs anyways.
Right. So just to end the show here, a couple ones that were suggested by our group: Daniel Gafford, Malik Monk, we mentioned, De'Aaron Fox, Jared Allen, and Norman Powell. A couple more mentioned as
good ball players. Allen is tough to deal with. I always think of guys that give Rudy a hard time. There were some of those big, Eastern Bloc guys like Valanciunas and like those types of dudes. They give us a hard time too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, we'll put an exclamation point on it there. Wolves play the Pelicans tomorrow and Friday. But before we do go, I do want to mention that my alma mater, high school alma mater, the Heritage Christian Academy Eagles, made it to the state tournament. So I'm going to go root them on.
Go Eagles?
Yeah, go Eagles. Very generic name. I understand that. I think growing up in our conference, we had like 4 Eagles in our conference. So it's very like patriotic. It's very like, I don't know. I guess. Yeah. But anyway, go Eagles, beat Dawson Boyd. And yeah. Anyway, Chris, thanks so much for being here.
Let's start another win streak.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And this is the Running with the Timberwolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple and leave a review on Apple, and we'll read it here on the show. And as always, go Wolves.